Alright, here we are for bad ending number 3 in chapter 3 with low romance and high corruption. And this is our first choice, and I think this is one of the only choices in this route for sure, and maybe in this game so far, where you don't get an immediate feedback on whether you picked a good choice or not. I ended up having picked the right one, which it was a fairly obvious choice. But yeah, you don't get, like, the butterfly on moon anything because the guy's not here. Which is kind of interesting. So anyway, we're gonna tell Sen that I don't know what will happen if I run into Sanon. What did I want to do? No one else had confronted me with the question, so I was too timid to answer the question off the cuff. Well, that I'm unsure of. I suppose I'd only be able to decide if I spoke with him. And even then, regardless if he's crossed or not, nothing is certain until I hear the words come from his mouth. Point well taken, I suppose. Alright. So she doesn't accuse us of being in love that time. Interesting. Okay. Still working together with the girls, but she's not like, girl, you obviously in love with this boy. Don't even lie to me. Alright, so now we're gonna run into Sanon here. Right, and then he has a bloodlust episode. That's the next thing that happens. So we gotta make him endure out here right next to a pile of corpses. I don't even know how that's gonna work. Really? He's really just gonna leave those corpses alone? Because we're hugging him? Let's find out. Immediate hug. Sanon, please stop! I think this is my favorite coloring of this picture so far. I like the moonlight. Rage consumed Sanon, prompting him to pounce on the nearby remains of a dismembered soldier. I did my best to restrain him, but there was little else I could do when the two of us were totally surrounded by what he had craved most. Against my better judgment, I kept myself from attempting other options, clinging to the hope that his sanity would remain intact. I was beginning to think my hesitation would cost Sanon, but no alternative seemed worth the risk. Oh? Really, Chizuru? Okay, so it sounds like he did end up feeding on those corpses a little bit. Because, I mean, honestly, how could you restrain him, really? Alright, and last one. Have you joined my father to the dark side? Sanon, are you and my father working together? Is this where you've been since you left? I advise choosing your words carefully, Yukimura. After all, it was the Shinsengumi who chose not to heed my humble offer of assistance. From my perspective, they drew the first blood with their betrayal of trust. It was the Shinsengumi who abandoned us. I was merely a casualty of their insolence. Alright. So, I'm really curious how this one's gonna go. Is he going to... Like, is Heisuke gonna show up? And if Heisuke doesn't show up... Or if Heisuke... I'm sorry, if Heisuke does show up... So Heisuke did show up. Is she going to step in front of Heisuke getting stabbed because she's not trusting him with his plan? But let's see. I marveled at Heisuke's heroics, but the echo of his rousing declaration attracted the attention of Furies who began to swarm around us gleefully. Ah! Heisuke against Sanon. Sen against Kaoru. Kimigiku against Father. Everyone else was locked in a fierce duel, and I've been left to fend for myself. Oh, this is how it's going down. Hiya! With wild aplomb, I waved my Kodachi at the mess of furies, hoping to chomp at me viciously. Stop! You can't take them all on by yourself! But... The furies bunched like moths to an open flame, appearing to be provoked by each of my frenzied swings, which weren't aimed at anyone in particular. It was a desperate play. I flinched as my Kodachi connected with the outstretched forearm of an attacking fury as blood spurted onto my face. As Heisuke warned, however, their vigor was unmatched, and I soon felt overwhelmed. Ow. Ah! They clawed at me incessantly, and before I knew it, one of the furies snatched my Kodachi out of my hand. The fury's piercing scarlet gaze was pointed at me, along with the tip of my own Kodachi. Oh, great. That's just cruel. Ah! As the cold steel was driven into my heart, I felt an unimaginable searing pain, causing me to cry out in desperate agony without any chance to defend. Sanan.
Yukimura! Hey, Furies! Halt! I said halt! So it goes. I suppose the Princess of Yase will have to do then.
As I collapsed to the floor, the fading sound of Father's voice echoed in my ears. Dang, Dad, thanks a lot. Even Brother was more concerned with me. That was a lot of blood, though. The whole screen was bright red. Alright, so it was Heisuke's fault that I died. He was louder this time, for some reason, and attracted more furies. Because, of course, you know, that's how that works. I've died in every bad ending so far. 2 furies! Oh my goodness. Okay, well we have one more ending, and Sanan hasn't actually snapped and killed me yet, so he's got one more chance, otherwise he's surprised me yet again. So let's find out.